Teyvat Travel Guide, Volume 1, Mondstadt Chapter, Teyvat Geographic Special Edition, Alice's Mondstadt Diaries. Dadupa Gorge. The three hilly troll tribes, Meaty Tribe, the Sleeper Tribe, and the Eclipse Tribe, located in this valley are all densely populated. Well, we built a huge spinning ball-shaped cell in the center of the valley and threw all the hilly trolls into it. That way, we might be able to generate enough energy to power all the mills in Mondstadt for at least 5 years. If we took it one step further by grinding the hilly trolls that are too old or too weak into food and feeding them to the strong ones, we might just build ourselves a perpetual motion machine that can support a huge factory like in Snezhnaya. It seems totally feasible to me. But when I told Miss Lisa about this idea, she looked at me and pondered in silence for a moment, then changed the subject gracefully. Star Snatch Cliff. The animal archon is a bit too undisciplined for me. If I were a god, I would not allow my realm to look so unorganized and ragged. With enough bombs placed in proper positions, even huge cliffs like Star Snatch would crumble into dust in seconds. With flatter terrain, Mondstadt would surely look much nicer. But the unconscious cavalry captain rejected my proposal instantly. He even asked me to stay away from Star Snatch Cliff. Windrise. At the center, there is a huge oak tree. It is said that Vanessa ascended there. I searched around the tree for a long time, but did not find any launching device. I grabbed some hilly trolls nearby to put my theory to the test. Sadly, the longest flying distance was from here to the Hunter's Hunt around Springvale. How disappointing. Falcon Coast. My unsuccessful experiment caused quite a stir in Springvale, so Miss Jean from the Knights of Avonius arranged someone to keep tabs on me. All I could do all day was wander around at Falcon Coast. This is such a boring place. Those stupid eagles hovering in the sky, puffed up ammo slimes, all bored me to death. The worst of all was that I had nothing to do. On the other hand, the Outrider girl who was sent to monitor me had quite a lot of fun with the kids. Whispering Woods. Yet another forest in Mondstadt. The Outrider girl, named Amber, seemed to know her way around this place. The explosive toy she carried around caught my attention. With some tweaks, I could turn it into something that could blow this forest and even nearby mountains into smithereens easily. My proposal seemed to scare her, but an explosive stuffed toy is indeed a brilliant idea. I must try it out next time. Bright Crown Canyon. I finally got rid of that stalker from the Knights of Avonius. This valley I found northwest coast of Cider Lake is still guarded by ancient mechanisms. But the soldiers responsible for holding the pass of the King of Gale were nowhere to be found. All the wind of time had left behind were unintelligent hilly trolls and a silent mechanical guards. My attempt to control ruin guards with hilly trolls failed as well. The guards split into pieces, and as for the fate of the hilly troll strapped onto it, I will spare you the gory details. Half the ruins were also destroyed in the process. Storm Terror's Lair. Bright Crown Canyon leads to this huge ruin of an ancient city which was built by the cruel King of Gales, the Carburan. The city was built in a ring shape. It seemed that every resident of the city had been arranged their own spot between the inner and outer rings. Right in the center of the city was a tall tower where the King of Gales resided. The ruins of the domain of this cruel king, who once tried to control his people's lives, are now utterly deserted. I blew up some few arcades so people could jump and climb up the tower more easily. Looks quite good to me. The ruins feel more ancient now. Teyvat Travel Guide, Volume 2, Liyue Chapter. Teyvat Geographic Special Edition, Alice's Travels in Liyue. Dihao Marsh. The northern stretch of the Baijue River turns into a wetland. If you look south beyond Stonegate, you will see a silver-grass marsh as far as the eye can see. At the southernmost point of the marsh is an inn set atop a giant rock. That is Wangshun Inn, the highest point on the entire marsh. Look south from there and you see Guili Plains. You can also make out Junyuan Forest across the sea. Also, there's a weirdo at the inn who's staying on the top floor. I don't think I've ever heard him say a single word. Lunch is a true feast at Wangshun Inn. The kitchen is equipped with every utensil you can imagine, perfect for getting some practical alchemy experience. On top of alchemy practice, I've got a few things to test out in my search for explosive catalysts. If everything goes smoothly, I'll spend a few more days here and then go to Guili Plains. Guili Plains. In the end, I came to Guili Plains a few days earlier than I originally planned. Records suggest that prior to the Archon War, this area was a thriving marketplace. The foxes and wild flinches are stunning here. Their fur and feathers have a certain glow about them, but I hear that they can be pests too. Liyue locals complain that they keep eating their fruits offering to the Geo Archon. I wonder if that gives them a fruity aroma when roasted. Maybe I should go hunting. They run a strict operation at the checkpoints on the main road, but the guards who work there are friendly people. I made a potion from some local herbs and gave it to one of them, for his stutter. It cured him, but it did seem to have some minor side effects. He now can't help but imitate everyone he comes across. Not just what they say, but the way they say it. It's uncanny how spot on his impressions are. Junyun Karst. I'm told that somewhere amidst the misty peaks of Junyun Karst lives an Adeptus. The exact location hidden somewhere in this ocean of clouds. All the Liyue herb gatherers claim to have seen the realm of the Adepti in all of its glory revealed before their very eyes in the clouds. Based on personal experience, I can say that overindulging in certain types of mushrooms can induce visions of similar nature. The terrain here fascinates me. So many of these stone pillars look like they belong deep underground, not here on top of a mountain. There's supposed to be an underground reservoir here. Part of me wonders if all the water has drawn out. Perhaps Junyun Karst would find itself back on the ocean floor where it belongs. My travel companion Zhongli is the sternest person I know, but he seems most entertained by this theory. He won't stop laughing. What an odd fellow. Yangguan Shoal. I've heard that the fog often rolls in off the sea onto Yangguan Shoal, and when it's at its thickest, you can barely see your hand at the end of your outstretched arm. Unfortunately, I didn't make it here in time to see a foggy episode. It's a bit of a shame. There are so many lovely shells on the beach. I wonder how many of them have been here since the Archon War. I strung some of them together to make a necklace, but unfortunately the fisherman from the inn sat on it and broke it. Every last shell, brutally crushed beneath his merciless buttocks. None were spared. Not only that, but he injured himself on the shards of the broken shells. I had to pay his medical bills. A giant sea snail shell stands on the beach where the Baiju River enters the sea. A kind old lady lives inside. Her family is said to have sailed here on the giant shell, and she spends her time rescuing shipwrecked people who end up drifting near the shore. I think that repurposing the giant shell as a self-propelled boat would make it much easier for her to rescue people from the sea. But after I lost control of my third prototype seashell boat and blew it up, the kind old lady decided she was not going to rescue me from the sea anymore. Junyun Stone Forest. This is a slide where the Geo Archon defeated the sea monster. Some of the great stone poles that pierced the ocean floor still tower above the surface of the sea, though many snapped long ago. The hexagonal stone pillars, formed from the conglomeration of geoenergy, are quite intriguing to look at. Viewed from above, one gets the impression that they were deliberately arranged in their current form to make a specific shape on the ocean surface. Maybe that was the real reason the Geo Archon rained down destruction on the ocean floor with his stone poles. Maybe it was all just a big joke, a beat in extremely poor taste. Zhongli from the Liyue harbor seems extremely knowledgeable on Liyue folklore, but I've never seen him come here. I can see Wangshan Inn in the distance. I'll bet that weirdo I met there last time is still staring this way now. The flow of the ley lines around here are unique in all of Liyue. Much more dynamic, somewhat unstable. It's as if the great, relentless power stirs somewhere in the depths of the ocean. Perhaps it's the defeated sea monster, still writhing on the ocean floor. Teyvat Travel Guide, Volume 3, Inazuma Chapter, Teyvat Geographic Special Edition, Alice's Inazuma Diaries. Mount Yugo. Lush sakura trees grow all over this mountain on the northern end of Norakami Island. These sakura all share roots with the largest of them all, the sacred sakura, which sits on the mountain summit. The Grand Narukami Shrine, greatest of the Inazuman shrines, is dedicated to the sacred sakura. Lily Yai has been the one managing the shrine in recent years. Ah, how she's grown! It's just a shame, really, to think that I can never again make her cry as easily as I used to. Really, I thought she'd quickly get drunk, start to cry, and start talking all silly. But she drank me under the table instead. I made a fool of myself in the process and was quite thoroughly mocked for it. Game made out to be some old woman who got what was coming to her. Pah. And here I was looking to tease that little girl a bit more too. Inazuma City. I bought a new firework formula from that Nagahara kid's place, but when he heard me talking about a new medicine that might cure his deafness, he demurred and did not accept it. This kid is ever the conservatives about explosives, always diluting them to the point where they cannot cause any obvious physical changes to the environment, and always relying on the combustion of different metals to produce monotonous visual effects. And he only does tests inside his workshop. I mean, come on, where's the fun in that? Ah, such a waste. Now, as for his daughter, Yoimiya, she's an interesting young lady. We collected a lot of sweets during the festival and tried all kinds of new formulas out. That was so much fun. And then we got packed off to a deserted beach by the fire brigade. Something about new rules which keep the peace in Inazuma City or something similarly silly. We discussed a lot of new ideas, and she even gave me some constructive feedback. A talented kid, this one is. The paradise I made for Klee also had one of Yoimiya's fireworks performances. That would have been perfect. It's a shame that the grumpy general kept too close an eye on us, or else I'd help Yoimiya improve some of her gadgets, or even spirit her away. This kind of reminds me of a time, not long ago, when I was preparing medicine that would allow for flight in the Imperial kitchens. It blew up to a mistake of mine, injuring a young Tengu warrior to the point where her left wing have needed, say, half a month to recover. I had wanted to help her patch the wound up, but it seemed that she's been avoiding me ever since. Well, I left her some medicine all the same, just to see how its effects would turn out. After the incident, it seems the person who spends all their time holed up in Takanashuku has sent some soldiers specifically to watch my every move. I mean, that's a bit much. I even apologized right to her face, but she just won't let up. She was the one who allowed me to conduct experiments in the Imperial Kitchen in the first place, you know. Also, Miss Kamisato declined my idol group invitation for the 6th time running. What a disappointment. Tatara Suna. Tatara Suna is an island chain that is naturally shaped like a ring. The mountains rise to overlook the sea surrounding the large blast furnace in the middle. This is where Inazuman's jade steel is produced and endlessly made into the best weaponry for the high-falutinous bigwigs of Inazuma. Or made from the blood and bones of defeated gods. This place is the Tenryu's Commission's pride and joy, and as such, he takes extra good care of the workers and technical specialists. I was accompanied during my time at Tartu Susuna by a lady named Kagami Gonzo. She seemed to be the leader amongst the workers there. Even though she was a Tenryou commissioner's subordinate, she very much looked like his equal in front of the workers. All of them trust and love her. I dare say that their respect for her dispatches might be even greater than that they give the shogun. But Kagami Gonzo herself frowns often, very unfriendly looking. The Tartasona workers are largely rootless, washed up these shores by waves of history. Their many tattoos and working songs set them apart, but also strengthens their mutual bonds. Like the other workers at Tartasuna, Kagami Gonzo's body has scars from high-temperature burns from the Tartarigami. These may be signs of short-lived or ill people in the eyes of outsiders, but there, it's how they identify family. I took the liberty of modifying the Mikage furnace, throwing a few valves and panels into the sea, improving the containment dome, which back then could, at best, be rated better than nothing. I wonder if those engineers from Fontaine will be pleasantly surprised. Old Man Kuju might get a little upset from the protection going down, but at least the furnace isn't going to go haywire from overheating. And I believe, even in the event of war, which may soon come, the explosion should not be too large, or large according to my personal standards, of course. Actually, might my ingenious invention perhaps prevent war from breaking out at all? Well, I, for one, would be more than pleased to see the expressions on those astrologers' faces when their predictions come to naught. Ha! Yasahori Island. The clear blue skies over Yashihori Islands really are a pleasant sight. The Strongi Omaujis explain that the Raiden Shogun placed many wards over this place to prevent the corruption that seeps from the remnants of the serpent god. Or something like that. I'm not good with their religious jargon. As far as I can observe, those lampposts are quite interesting. Although they have appearance of items dedicated to the Electro Archon, the technique used to make them are quite familiar to me. Oh, whoa, would you look at that? This is supposed to be a travelogue, not some tedious academic paper. We were warmly welcomed by Washizu, the head of Uiji Village. The grilled fish and onigiri were great. Also, that place called Nasuachi Beach is full of friendly pirates. It's such a shame that I couldn't stay on this island for longer. The mines on the island are busy places indeed, but the equipment they use are quite backwards. Even though the Shogun put all those wards down, blocking off most of Takagami's spread, many miners have still contracted chronic illnesses from prolonged exposure to the influence of those snake-bone crystals. The sakura mochi that the Umayuji brought with them are very tasty, but they're hardly equal to the views that Little Ye makes. I should probably pay a visit to Ashra's shrine later. I wonder how that fat cat's been doing lately. I did try to catch it with specifically crafted cage the other time, only to be stopped by that killjoy shrine maiden.